let's talk about one thing before we play Approachables clips, and that is Andrew's son versus Johnny, with a little Pants Maestro thrown in there as well. I won't speak for Johnny, but one thing that really annoys the out of me is people treating Johnny like he's a child and that like he has these delicate feelings that need to be like overprotected. So Pants Maestro paid $300 one day for no Johnny. We all made a deal. We said if you knock out the goal, Johnny will kick Johnny off. He'll get the day off, whatever. And Johnny had a guest spot during the anniversary show, and Pants Maestro said, I'll pay you $200 to not do Johnny's guest spot. And I'm like, that is the easiest decision ever. Now, if I had known that Pete was going to suck and Oz was going to give me nothing and Gino and Keanu were going to drink themselves into being an hour late for their appearance, I mean, everyone but Sean stunk on the anniversary show. Sean saved it. Then I probably would have turned down the $200. But it was $300 one day, $200 the next. And everyone's like, you guys are just treating Johnny like shit, and this is terrible. And there was a lot of moral about us taking money and then Johnny getting the day off. And we haven't talked to Johnny about it because it happened on Wednesday. But I have to say, from my own personal opinion, and I know Corey's opinion on this when he was on the show, because people did this to him a few times, was I make the same money and I don't have to work. I'll take it. So with that, I'll throw it to Johnny. His thoughts on first the Pants Maestro and his money offers, and then Andrew's son and the Johnny versus Andrew's son arc. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, starting with the moral stuff, like I've been pissed about that for a while. Like I've been pissed about people like privately messaging me and everything else. Like, oh well, you've got to realize Aaron is using you. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, even if he is, I've been told this shit before, and I've said, you know what, it's my life, and I'm living it, and I'm making the choices I make. And then with the latest stuff, it's like, dude, the goals are met, and I get a day off. Who cares? Right. Like, other than the fact I have to, like, if I got up today wondering, should I put in my contact lenses or not? Because if I put in my contact lenses, Pants Maestro will buy me out, and then I got to take them back out so I can go back to sleep. Yeah. Or if I wear my glasses, I'm gonna have to do the whole show. So might as well wear the contacts. Like I couldn't figure out which. I went with the contacts, but I've been kind of sitting here wondering, like, do I get to go back to bed? Like I'm not. People think this is a problem. No. As long as I'm not getting like fired, it's not a problem. If you're buying me off the show,
right? That's what I don't get when people go, Aaron, why would you do this to Johnny? I'm like, what? Make the money I need to make to keep the show going and give him a day off? I've never felt further away from evil in my life. And then the other thing where they're like, oh, Aaron's using you, Aaron's doing it. Like, this is the problem a lot of people have, is they perceive someone as like a victim or down, and then they treat that person like in an odd way, like really shitty, like they almost pity them instead of treating them the way that person would like to be treated. Please show me where Johnny's been treated any different than Oz, than Corey, than Pete. Well, he's been treated differently than them in one way. He's stayed around. But this show, like the idea that this show was never about people making fun of each other and busting each other's balls, and when something interesting happens in someone's life, we don't use it for content. And all it's ever taken, whether it's me to someone else or someone else to me, all it's ever taken to not talk about something on this show is for one person to go to the other and go, please don't talk about it. Yeah. Then it's like, oh, okay. But like the idea that like the two of us, when we do a show together, aren't totally cool with everything going on this show is mind-boggling to me.
The thing that bothers me about it, not to interrupt, I apologize. The thing that bothers me about it the most is it's like people jump in to tell me like, you know, oh, you need to be worried about this. You need to be worried about that. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You see this interaction online and you just assume that's that. And the only space I'll give people for being worried about me or being, hey, Johnny, you know, like kind of treating me with kid gloves is because I've gotten emotional before. But as I keep trying to explain to the internet, you guys don't understand how much that has to do with my real life outside of this. And I get it because you don't see that. But like I spend a lot of time not getting emotional in my real life outside of this stuff.
Yeah.
One particularly like around my daughter, whenever something bad happens or whatever, I've got to fuck it up and eat it. I can't flip out. I can't get emotional. My kid's right there. So I've got to, you know, eat it at that times. So sometimes when I'm doing this internet stuff and I'm literally sitting in a room by myself, it's a little easy to kind of like let myself get emotional or whatever. So it's understandable where people could be like, hey man, you need to be nicer to Johnny. But at the same rate, dude, we're about to play several clips of you sounding like a Mo, and then we're going to do a bunch of other stuff. We've been talking about your relationship, how long this year. So the idea of like, you're using Johnny for content. Like, did we not just use Aaron for content for the past 9 months? How?
Yeah. No, and I think it's funny because, like, most people going through what you're going through they don't do shows. They've taken a step back from everything they do. Meanwhile, you're still doing them, and you get criticized for 2 times in 4 years where you've let what you're going through get to you. And it's like, I don't know, man. You add the days you don't and the days you do, and you make that your win-loss record. I'm
in the column that's good.
That's an incredible win-loss record. That's for sure. So yeah, I wanted your thought because I'm very interested in like the Andrew Sun thing, and I'm very interested in the Pants Maestro thing. I think it's all very funny. But I wanted to get before we went any further with it, I wanted to get your thoughts on it, basically to put you on record, because I know how you feel about it. But man, there's some people in the audience who get so worried and they get so nervous. And I'm like, guys, relax. We're having a good time. I promise. Kirkland Red 100 says, let's just forget about the goal and give the rest of the super chats to Johnny. No, I want to stay on the air. That's all there is to it.
I saw my name in Kirkland's chat, and I was like, oh, we're going to buy me out again? Oh, please let this.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to buy him out. Buy him out. But Kirkland Red, I've always told you this. Go watch Johnny's show. Help out his viewership. Help out his money. And give your $4.99 super chats to Johnny. Yeah. You should do that. You're being very much like a liberal right now. You're being a progressive where they go, somebody should help this downtrodden group. And then you're like, oh, why don't you do it? Well, no, I have to sit here and yell about it on the street corner.
I'm drawing awareness. That's what I'm doing.
What? How does that work?